When you're in school, they tell you you go in here, you're doing your GCSEs, you go into college, you're doing your A-levels, then you're going to university, and that's what I was taught in school. It's curriculum, it's, lessons. There was nothing about enterprise whatsoever, so business to me was never an option.
It's very well embedded in our school, mainly in the sixth form. What I'd like to see is it actually embedded in other years, really, and that's where I suppose we struggle.
Starting it young at our age is a really good thing as well, because most people won't get that opportunity until they're in university or college as well. It encourages to think about the other options that are available as well, not just going into other companies working, in supermarkets. We can think about starting our own businesses, and now that we've developed those skills together to learn about those sort of things, and we can actually achieve that now, and we know that.
We had a lot of help in school because we had our teachers, and we also had an entrepreneur, Rob, and he was really helpful into what we needed to do, how we could market our things to make them sell a lot better.
It would have been a good idea if the Welsh Assembly government would have got in touch with me before I graduated, because as business graduates, you come out of uni and you're going to look to start up your own business. It was just, you did your degree, passed, and bang, and you're out there.
Ddim 'di gweithio lot efo addysg uwch na pellach. Pan nathon ni ddechrau'r cynllun, mi ddaru ni drio yn galed iawn neu cysylltiadau o fewn addysg uwch a trio cael rhyw fath o referral system, ond dydy o ddim wedi gweithio. Dyn ni wedi hefyd yn yr gorffennol wedi trio cysylltu efo'r Entrepreneurship Champions sydd yn y colegau. Dim lot, so lwyddiant.
The experience I had learning about enterprise and business was in Sons University, and I got an email, we get those student emails, and one came through saying, it's like a Dragon's Den pitch competition, win a laptop, and I was like, a laptop, I need a laptop. I didn't have a laptop. So I thought, I'll go for that, what can I make up? I made it up, and I came second in the overall university competition, and that was the only sort of business, and that was when I actually thought, I might be good at business.
Our university was very, very much concentrating on us getting a job in one of the big multinational firms, one of the big companies. They didn't really mention entrepreneurship as an alternative form of employment.
No one ever came up to me and said, you're doing film studies. Do you know about any of the business side of film studies?
There's loads of help and encouragement. Dynamo role models, which I'm one of, apparently the youngest, is amazing. Go through schools and kind of inspire young people.
I think mentoring is really important. I think everyone should give back what they've learned. I'm not an expert in many things, but there are definitely things that I know a lot about, and so why not share that with younger people who are just starting out.
Mae yna lot o arian yn mynd at lot o brosiectau unigol. Dwi'n meddwl bod yna lot yn mynd ymlaen, ond mae'n anodd I bobl ifanc ffeindio allan lle I fynd I, pwy dylsyn nhw siarad efo, does e ddim un pot of call.
I also didn't know about this Youth Entrepreneurship program.
Even now, I'm still self-employed, obviously, and I need to do my tax return. Don't know what I'm doing, absolutely no idea.
One thing we did notice was it's sort of a time-consuming process, lots of paperwork and things like that in order to sort of achieve the benefit.
Well overcomplicated. There was so many different kind of branches there.
It's like a treasure hunt online to try and find out what you've got to do and when you've got to do it. Recently found out that I just missed out on a grant that I would have been eligible for had I found out about it about 6 weeks before.
There is help out there, but they don't know where to get it. It took me months and months and months to find that money, for example, and it was just there. It was it's the Welsh Assembly graduate bursary. It was there for me.
I get a sense that there's a big disconnect a lot of the time between Welsh Government and proper ground level entrepreneurs. Where you're going to meet guys with green hair who are making the sort of websites and apps that are going to change the way we all live and work in the future.
There isn't so much help such as hand-holding or that kind of ear to listen to you when you have an issue. Welsh Government and policymakers feel quite separate from what we do on the ground. Often you feel a little bit like you're on your own and you would just like a phone number to call to ask for advice on X, Y or Z.
Because actually all our experienced successful entrepreneurs here are from manufacturing, financial services, legal services, just the nature of the economic makeup of the history of Wales.
They all seem to come from construction, which, you know, if I said to them, how could we improve our Twitter strategy, they'd look at me like that, you know. So
trio wneud yn siŵr bod pawb yn gweithio e'i gilydd. A pan mae yna gynlluniau newydd yn dod, bod pobl sydd yn gweithredu cynlluniau ar y pryd yn ymwybodol, a jyst rhannu gwybodaeth, a trio wneud yn siŵr bod pobl yn gweithio e'i gilydd.
Welsh Government could send out mailings. They have information about every company started in a certain area. Everyone has that information. They could literally just send out an information pack by default.
Everybody suggests for them to merge everything into one single organisation, so people know in Wales where exactly to go to for either money, support, funding, advice.
The finance was the big major issue, to be honest. We wanted to take a loan because I was already in so much debt.
Princess Trust, which might not be connected with you, but it was really good. I got a £3,000 loan. I just paid that off actually, which was really helpful in terms of equipment and capital purchases. What's it called? Bilingual in Business Grant, which I've just gone through, which is Wrexham based. They were really helpful. And I've been through launch funding, which was March's Cymru.
So Jobs Growth Wales helped me to take on 2 people to help work on projects, and as a result now one of them has joined us as a full-time member of staff.
a lot of the criteria we couldn't meet, like there was grants that we could have applied for, but our turnover would be nowhere near the target amount. So
3 months into that process, so all the paperwork and what have you, we were told that we would not have that money to start up. We'd have to start trading before we saw any money, and then we were left stranded really. So then we had to go desperate to find out, well, we had to take on private loans, which I'm still paying off now, 2 overdrafts and all that. And then, yeah, a few months down the line, the money finally came through, but it was too late by then.
We've had to wait quite a long time for the funds to come in, and our kind of initial overheads have been quite high with website, petrol costs and whatnot.
Mae gennym ni 2,000 o bunne ar gael iddyn nhw ddechrau i'w busnes, so i brynu offer, beth bynnag mae'n angen. Dim hyfforddiant, ond rhan fwy o beth eraill fedrwn ni dalu. Weithiau dydy'r 2,000 ddim digon i ddechrau'r busnes, so mae hynny'n barrier iddyn nhw.
Potential young entrepreneurs have come up to me and, you know, told them, or I've kind of led them away from the public sector funding and just bypass them, just go straight to the banks.
So basically you need nerds to build the stuff, you need rich guys to invest in it. We've got the nerds, but we've got the wrong type of rich guys. That's pretty much bluntly it. And so if there's not the right type of rich guys, we either need to bring more of them here, that's a PR exercise, or the government needs to find ways of releasing funding.
I think it's really easy to start up a business. For it to fulfil its potential, I think that's where we need more help.
You can say, hey, start your own business, register as a limited company or register as a company, and we'll give you 9 months of job seeker allowance or some kind of benefit just to tide your costs over. I really, really believe that lots and lots of people will start a business.
Is actually, if there's ever a time for you in your life, you know, you're living with 3 other people, your rent is like £7 a week, you can live on baked beans, go and make mistakes, go and learn.
When you go to the job centre and you're signing on, they're saying apply for a job in Tesco's, you know, go to Asda, that kind of thing. From that low level, no one's saying, oh, you can start your own business. I think that's really bad.
But he came in here, he looked around the building, we told him the plans for it, and he said, do you know what, this building would make a great contact centre. And I kind of looked at him and I thought, right, we could either create these jobs, these perhaps unsustainable jobs for people, which there are plenty of them out there, or we can create businesses which are creating employment. And we've already seen in 9-10 months since we've opened, 45 businesses now which are employing on average 2 people per business.
No business rates for 2 years, absolutely fantastic, as I wouldn't have been able to open this shop if I'd had the business rates on top. There's no way.
Wales is a perfect place to start up, not only because of the legal side of it, but also because rent here was quite cheap.
And I was tweeting with a tech startup journalist in France, and she tweeted me back saying, there are startups in Cardiff, ! The internet as a whole is worth more to the British economy than manufacturing, construction, education, you know, some very, very serious sectors that are given huge amounts of airtime, you know, because actually if you wanted to get the most bang for your buck on pretty much any project, you probably spend almost all of it below the M4, you know, Newport, Cardiff, Swansea.
Does na'm llawer o swyddi yn lleol a dwi eisiau aros yn lleol, ond os o'n i yn mynd i prifysgol, mae'n debyg swn i'n gorau symud i ffwrdd i ffindio swydd, a mae'r hyn o dechrau busnes fy hun, mae'n gadael i fi cael yr opsiwn o aros yn lleol.
Dwi'n achos bod o'n cynllun datblygu gwledig, dyn ni'n gysau cadw o fewn yr ardal wledig o Sir Fflint. Mae hynny'n anodd. Ddarnau lle sa chi'n meddwl bod o'n industrial, ond dan bod y poblogaeth yn isel, mae o'n cael ei gynnwys o dan yr ardal wledig, mae o'n anodd i bobl. Mae'n andros anodd gostio esbonio i rywun ifanc sydd yn byw ar gyrion Fflint, dydwch. Mae ffrind nhw wedi cael borsariaeth gen ni, maen nhw'n byw lawr y ffordd, ond dydyn nhw ddim yn getru.
As long as you've got the information that's there for you, I don't think it matters wherever you live, even if it's in a rural area.
Yeah, I don't think it necessarily has to be where you are, it just has to be the openness to the people around you. I think you need to have those positive influences.
Running a business can sound and seem pretty daunting, and I think a lot of people don't know that it might be an option for them and that they might not need to have as much startup capital as they might think.
Being an entrepreneur is down to the individual, and I think ultimately if you have enough drive, you will eventually become successful.
So that energy when you're starting up as a youngster, you get patronised and saying, well, you don't have the experience to, but sometimes it's good to have that inexperience because actually you're a lot more open to new ideas and you're willing to take those risks.
I lost a lot of friends actually kind of setting up a business, especially the ones my age. Some of them don't quite understand the way I work.
And I've got a lot of friends now who look at me in my position and almost resent me because I don't have a degree, they have a degree and they're struggling to find any kind of worthwhile employment.
My family at first kind of kept asking questions and we always used to argue about it because they didn't understand. My mum now just doesn't ask any questions, which is great.
Our business, I was lucky enough to have the support of my parents who said, you know, if you can't pay rent for a few months, that's no problem. You can live with them. And also my father, he started his own business when he was very young as well. Totally different industry, totally different type of business, but I always had that kind of energy from him to be my own boss and to do my own thing.
I think instilling the belief in young people that they can set up a business is one of the most important things.